US Vice President JD Vance has sounded a firm note on trade with India. Speaking to Fox News on Thursday, Vance said the US is moving to rebalance its trade relationship with New Delhi, accusing India of having taken advantage of America for too long. In his words, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a tough negotiator, something he observed during his recent visit to India. But despite the hard bargaining, Vance said India could still be among the first countries to seal a new trade deal with the US. The talks come at a tense time. President Donald Trump's administration has threatened steep import tariffs up to 26%, but for now, the US has paused most of those tariffs for 90 days starting April 9. However, a baseline 10% tariff remains, and crucially, the 25% duties on steel, aluminum, and auto parts are still in force. Speaking on Fox News' special report, Vance stressed that Washington wants a good deal, and that's why the pressure is on. When asked if India would be the very first to secure a deal, Vance said he wasn't sure, but it would certainly be among the first. Negotiations are also on with Japan, Korea, and parts of Europe. US officials have been repeatedly affirming that talks with India are progressing. On Monday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC's Squawk Box that a deal is very close. He noted that India doesn't impose so many high tariffs, making an agreement more likely. President Trump himself has backed his view. In his words, negotiations are coming along great. I think we'll have a deal with India. He reminded viewers that Modi was in the US just 3 weeks ago and is keen to make a deal. Still, there are hurdles. US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer told Fox News that a final agreement isn't imminent but close. He confirmed that India's Trade Minister Piyush Goyal is in regular contact. A US team just spent a week in India. Greer also met India's chief negotiator during the visit. Agriculture is one of the major sticking points. Vance criticized India's market as being effectively closed off to US agricultural products. He said American farmers produce great food but can't access Indian consumers due to tight regulations. He added that this deal is expected to open up India to American technology and farmers, creating more US jobs. In his words, this is the kind of trade deal Donald Trump loves. Just a day before announcing reciprocal tariffs, the US had flagged several trade practices by India that it considers unfair. These include restrictions on dairy, pork, and fish imports, requiring GMO free certificates without what Washington calls scientific justification. The US Trade Representative's report also listed slow and opaque systems for approving genetically engineered products. India's import restrictions on boric acid, pulses, and what the US calls market distorting farm subsidies were also flagged. Another big issue, intellectual property. The US has placed India on its priority watch list over weak protections for trade secrets and delays in patent approvals. On his part, Vance clarified that the administration is not anti trade, just anti unfair trade. In his words, let's be honest, the Indians have taken advantage of us for a long time. Last week, India and the US began formal negotiations on a bilateral trade agreement. The goal to more than double trade from $190 billion to $500 billion by 2030. The clock is ticking. With the 90-day tariff pause already underway, the pressure is on both sides to seal a deal or brace for more trade turbulence.